I'm Theron Q. Ramacharaka. Excuse me. Sorry. Didn't mean to give you a view of my chest, my shirt, but I saw a cat walking outside and I wanted to know what cat it was. Okay, listen, just one more, a quick note about my immediately previously posted video, which at this moment is still uploading. It's called Evolving Your LOM and Its Use, number 2, Positive Will and Thought Forms. Okay, I should have included this statement in with it, but I didn't, so it's an afterthought. Just a clarification. There's a lot of talk in that video about will, universal will, what we call individual will. I've talked previously, with respect to your LOM, engraving things upon your will. Now, in this immediately previous video, I have talked about an aura of positive will. You can consider that, so to speak, aura of positive will to be like a reservoir, as though, remember, you are a focal point of universal will. Remember that? I wanted to add that in here, a reminder of that. And so, we talked about, being a focal point for the flow of universal will. So you can consider this extension outward 3 to 5 feet in all directions from, let's say, you, to be like a reservoir, or you can consider that you as a focal point are serve in a manner of speaking of as a battery or reservoir for universal will. Okay. So there's one way to look at it, but I want you to bear in mind, that you, one way to define you, your very sense of identity, or the nature of your true self is that you are a focal point of universal will, right? So all this talk of will is, you remember, will is will, wherever and however it shows up, it's will. And it is an essential characteristic of who and what you are. So all of these different ways of talking about it, an extension of will out 3 to 5 feet from you, engraving something upon your will, you performing actions in accordance with duty to the law, universal will flowing through you. Remember, this is all will, and it's all the power of will. It's all the same will at work. So I want you to notice the correspondences. In your reading of your LOM, you will to gain strong willpower, right? Remembering exactly what that really means. Okay? You're now extending positive will out from your body. You're vitalizing your secondary thought forms with will. It's universal will at work. And you are superintending in accordance with universal will as engraved upon your will as part of your motivating goals and so forth. All of these things, I want you to notice how these things all connect. That they're all different ways of talking about and directing flows and energy and so forth. They're all just different aspects of the same thing happening. All right? You are using intention. The faculties that you are employing here are intention, attention, visualization. All of these tools of mentalism are what are coming together, all as things that have been engraved into, by one method or another, by now, into your access to and use of universal will, in correspondence with universal will. And it's pushed toward instantiating the law of evolution in the life principle of the cosmos. All right? So you're with all of this stuff that I presented in the last video, the immediately preceding video, we're working in accordance with and in harmony with universal law. All right? I want you to see how these things all are building upon one another and how they all correspond with one another. That they are different ways to go at the same thing over and over. Universal will acting through one of its focal points, that being the real you, the true self. Right? So I hope that you see how these things are fitting together, how that they are augmenting each other, how that they are part of one thing happening, and how that they have to do with your personal evolvement and movement toward the establishment of true selfhood, your self-actualization, and your achievement along these lines, as well as other lines in your life. Okay, that's the note that I wanted to make right here. I want, again, to see how these things are working together, and how that they all correspond with one another, and what they're really truly rooted in. And that these all have to do with who and what you are. Okay, be well.